This is the second card that we're going to be making, the bonus card. And this is the same technique as the first one with the spotlighting, except we're doing it twice, and we have emboss resist happening here as well. So let me show you how this card comes together. What you need for this card is a piece of old olive, and this has been cut to measure 3 3/4 by 1. And you have a piece of whisper white that measures 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. Your Coastal Cabana piece is 5 1/4 by 4, and your card base is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. I also have some scrap card bits in all the same colors. And we're going to use some real red ribbon. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this piece onto my card base. I'm going to punch this out with the scallop border punch. Now I'm using the watercolor Winter 2 stamp set for the season's greetings. Grab my Coastal Cabana ink, ink it up, and stamp it down. I'm stamping down a little bit lower because this is going to go underneath the ribbon. We're taking our paper piercer mat again with our paper piercing tool, and we're going to punch holes in it all along the edge like we did for the first card. And in the stamp set you have little snowflakes. That's what we want for this next bit. I'm going to stamp those with some old olive. Just stamp them randomly onto your piece of cardstock. So this piece can get put aside as well. We will come back to those. We're going to stamp our houses now, and this is going to be for our spotlighting part. And just to save time, we'll stamp them both at once. And we're going to stamp them again in the Memento ink because we will once again be coloring with our blendabilities. I'm going to start coloring my houses, and I'm starting with my lighter colors and working up to my darker colors. And I'm pretty much coloring them exactly the same way that I did in the last video. So I'll just go ahead and get that done. Okay, those are colored, and I want to add a little Christmas wreath. This set is so much fun. Stampin' Up! Artists have just thought about everything for this. And they've got all kinds of fun embellishments for these houses. So I'm going to take my old olive, ink up that little holly, and I'm going to take my real red marker and I'm just going to add little dabs of red for the holly berries, and you can kind of see on this stamp where those little spots are. Alright, and I'm going to stamp that right in this little tiny corner here, just like that. Cute, cute, cute. Now I'm doing it this way. Now on the original card I stamped it right on the house itself, and it's kind of hard to see, and I want to pop it out a bit, so that's why I've done that. Now I'm going to take my Crocodile. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these. We don't sell them anymore, but you can buy our new handheld punches. And I'm actually just going to trim this a little bit out. And then set that aside, and we'll come back to it. Now these pieces, we're going to do them exactly the same way we did with the first card. We're going to take our 1 1/4 inch circle punch and punch out your house. Okay. Next, you're going to take your 1 3/8 inch punch and punch out a circle out of the Coastal Cabana scrap piece of paper and out of the Old Olive scrap piece of paper. Now, the greenhouse, I'm going to put on the blue, and the blue house, I'm going to put on the green. Now I'm going to take my wreath a bit of glue and put that on in the center of those windows so it stands out a lot more now. And we're going to put those aside. We have all of our pieces for our card except for the Resist Emboss. Now this is really, really easy. We're going to make it even easier because we're going to build everything onto our block. So we're going to put that house here. And we're going to put that house here. You might want to take your paper and just kind of measure it against that so you can see where everything is. I'm going to take my street lamp, put that there. My Christmas tree will go in the center. I'm actually going to put this house down a little bit lower. Okay. Then we need Santa Claus. And Santa Claus is way cool because we can bend him so that he is flying right over the house. Now that is a definite cool perk about photopolymer that I love. Alright, I think I have all my bits and pieces on there. I will add some stars afterwards. Take my stamp and I'm inking it up with my Versamark really, really well. Ink that puppy up. Push down nice and firm. Now we take our clear embossing powder and we sprinkle that on top of our picture. Get it really good and covered. Watch that you don't put your finger on any of those stamped images. Perfecto mando. Now we're going to heat that up, but we are not going to heat it on top of my paper piercing mat because I don't know what would happen. It might melt and I'm not going to take that chance. So let's move that out of the way. Grab my heat gun and zap that puppy. Okay, so this is all embossed and I'm not sure how well you can see it on the camera, but it's all really nicely embossed. There's no powder still sticking there. Everything's all melted perfectly. We get a sponge and we're going to actually start with the Coastal Cabana ink. And these are just our Stampin' Up! Sponges that I've cut into quarters. And I'm just going to sponge in little circles right on top of my image. And what you'll see is the embossing is going to show through that. Cover the whole piece. We're going to go into some Bermuda Bay next. You can see how when you add the darker colors it really pops out. We're going to go in our darker color. We're going to use Night of Navy now. And I'm just sponging randomly here and there because I want all three blues to shine through. I really like how that looks. Okay, and the last thing you do is you're going to take your baby wipe and you're going to wipe over the top because there's ink on top of the embossing. Just wipe that ink. Just have to rub lightly. And there you go. Very nice. So now it's just a matter of putting this together. I'm going to take our glue again. Remove this. That goes right in the top like that. And then this piece will go on the bottom. I have added a bow on this card, but I wanted to show you a different way that you can add ribbon to your cards. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this over like that. And now I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm just going to tie a knot. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to take my scissors, cut it off a diagonal. These are vintage faceted buttons. I absolutely adore these buttons. I'm going to put that ribbon right in the center like that. Trim this up a bit so it's not too long. Add a couple glue dots and put it onto your card. And there you go. Perfect. Now, the last thing are our two spotlighting pieces. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue and pop those on, and then this will really brighten up the card. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And so you can see the one I did earlier where I've added the bow, and then it looks completely different if you just want to conserve your ribbon. Thanks. Happy stamping.